Good day, traders. Stacey Burke from Stacey Burke Trading. Daily currency levels for Friday, May 15th. British pound crosses. 4 o'clock on our calendar, 4 a.m. New York Eastern Standard Time. We have the German prelim GDP. And tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. New York Eastern Standard Time, we have core retail sales and retail sales. Again, looking at our daily chart on our pound Aussie, yesterday sort of a tight ranging day, but we have stayed below the 1.9000 level. The market has gone into consolidation above the last swing low in January. We have stops below the lows at 88.50, down lower at 87.65 towards the lower bottom of that 250 pip box, again at 87.50. The market is currently trading at 89.13. So it's been a 1, 2, 3 down days, basically, and still tighter range. Today could be an interesting day. When we look at our 4-hour chart, again, we can see this consolidation. 1 push down, 2 pushes, and a 1, 2, 3 on a smaller time frame back up to the 1.9000 level before dropping down and going sideways. So this afternoon could be an interesting trading session as we head into London. Again, we have taken out yesterday's lows early this morning and late into the US session. Traded sideways underneath of Thursday's lows. Currently the Asian high-low has stayed in a fairly tight range. We have stops above the 89.25 level, and we have stops below the 88.85 level. As we head into the Europe Open, we could see the stops hit up top and possibly a move back down towards the low of the day and testing Wednesday's lows, which are the lows of the week. So again, currently we've dropped down. We had 1 push, 2 pushes, and then 3 into last night's US session and on a 1, 2, 3 before dropping down and going sideways. Again, we could see a stop on high and then possibly retesting the lows of the day. We have stops now underneath of that most recent swing low, just heading into the end of that Asian session. Up next, pound Canadian. Again, that market went sideways at the 72.50 level before dropping down in the box yesterday, hitting stops from last month, taking out the monthly lows. There's nothing really to stop this market to continue falling at this point. And again, that market pinned on both sides before dropping down yesterday, and there's a bit of space down to that lower 1.7000 level. Again, when we look at our 4-hour chart, we can see that the stops have just been taken out from last month, and again, not much to stop this market from falling further. We have a little swing level down around the 70.70 level, but for the most part, this market is trading at 71.50. And there's a bit of space underneath of it. We could see a pullback to retest that 72.50 level, but again, we've pinned the low, pinned the high. We had a pin hammer yesterday. This anchor point could become a flip zone for a measured move down. When we look at our 15-minute chart again, when we bring that a bit closer together, we can see that the market took out Wednesday's low yesterday in the US session before consolidating and then trading underneath of that low, underneath the 71.75 level, dropping down in the Asian session, hitting the stops again in that last hour and a half. And again, now we have the low of the spike from the rollover this morning as a possible one more test. We could see a stop on low for a move back to test those highs at the Asian rollover. However, this market is showing a bit of extreme weakness at the moment. And even if we see a bit of a pullback, it may be minor. Now, the other scenario is that we could see this market come off of this lower level quite aggressively towards the highs, retesting Wednesday's low for a breakout up top and possibly retesting back into the box. We could see a 1 push, 2 push, 3 session reversal in the US, but for now this market is showing a bit of extreme weakness. We have a micro trend line, and that market is still trading underneath of it. Up next is our pound Swiss. Again, this market, another one, dropped down in the lower 250 pip box. Not much of a pullback. We've gone into consolidation. We have stops underneath of this morning's lows at 1850. Not much to stop this market from falling down to 1750 level and retesting breakout traders from back in March. These are psychological levels for buying and selling, but right now this market again took out last month's stops and is consolidating and still showing a bit of weakness. Our 4-hour chart, the market has gone sideways after taking out stops from April. And again, just consolidating. We had one push, two push, and a 1, 2, 3 down before pulling back. If we were to see something reverse, we might see a bullpen hammer over the next 3 to 4 hours show up in here somewhere, possibly heading into the US for a retest back towards the highs up around that 1950 level. Our 15-minute chart again shows yesterday we had Asia, London, and US dropping down before reversing into the US session. We've stayed consolidated, still really for the most part underneath of yesterday's highs, where all three sessions traded in a 100 pip box. Currently testing that 1850 level. We have stops below that level from the end of Asia. Again, this level, if it was to be broken, we could see a retest down low or possibly a stop hunt back to the high. They just put a new swing high in. We know there's stops at this level. And we'll look to see which area, when Europe opens, they go after first. Next up is our pound yen. And again, on our daily chart, we dropped down, took out the lows of the first week of the month. We've pinned that. This market is still appearing to show a bit of weakness. There is support possibly around that 130.00 level. In that 250 pip box, we have stops above the high of the week up at 133.18. When we look at our 4-hour chart, we can see that this market has dropped down towards the lower 250 pip box and pulling back. We're currently in a sideways consolidation in between highs and lows. And again, this 130 area could act as an area for support. On our 15-minute chart, we possibly have a reversal coming in yesterday. We formed a bit of a double bottom, and inside of that, another little micro double bottom where the market reversed in the US session. We've headed back into Asia. The Asian session sold off up high. We've had one push, two push, possibly a three push pattern forming for a stop hunt low. This market, if it breaks these levels, could retest the US session longs, but we may find a bit of support for a stop hunt back up on the Asian session shorts from that 131.25 level. Again, as we head into the Europe Open, that'll give us some insight if there is a stop hunt and how aggressive that is and on which side they go after. So, next up, our pound New Zealand. Daily chart, we saw that big move up on Wednesday. We've pinned up breakout traders, a bit of a bullpen, currently trading at that 2.0375 level. We have stops above the highs at 475 and down at the low area at 121. Looking at our 15-minute chart, we can see this market had a big move up on Wednesday. We've stayed up high. They brought traders up high last night in that London session. So they hit the stops on the bottom, hit the stops on top, went into consolidation before dropping down underneath of that US session. And Asia took out the lows of the London session, currently working the upper part of that 375 to 400 level area underneath of the US session lows. We could see a second tap to the high for a move back down through the lows, taking out the higher swing low on Wednesday. But again, currently up high on the day underneath of the US session lows last night. So again, stops have been taken out on London. We could see a retest of the Asian session lows for a fairly strong move down if that was to occur. And lastly, our British pound. Again, this market dropped down in the below the 2250 level, taking out swing stops from last month. dropping down and staying underneath of that level. There are stops underneath of the lows of the month at 21.64. The market briefly touched in that area but hasn't really gone through it. When we look at our 4-hour chart, we can see that big move dropping below. They've dropped down, pulled it back, but again showing a bit more weakness as we head into that next 4-hour block, still underneath of 22.50 on our 15-minute chart. You can see that big move down on Wednesday went into consolidation. Traders in Asia brought that market down further yesterday before forming a stop hunt back on Asian shorts, lower level shorts, taking out the London lows in the US session before consolidating and then taking out the London highs into the close. Now the Asian session, again, we took out stops and then sold off. We're in that 25 pip box sideways, partly between the Asian open and the US session swing lows. If the market was to retest this upper area just from the swing shorts, the low level shorts, we could get a stop hunt back up above there for a move back down. There are a lot of swing stops from last night's session. This market possibly forming a reverse head and shoulders, but at this stage it looks like that may get tested as we head into the Europe Open. Stops all underneath of this 2200 level. If the market breaks through there, it could make a fairly strong move right through the lows of yesterday. If it was to find some support for a stop hunt back up high, we could retest the highs of today and yesterday and possibly have a continuation for a move back up. There's not a lot to stop that market from moving north, but there is a lot of liquidity down below from yesterday's session. Just closing on a quote from Bill Lipschutz. There are a million ways to structure the trade, and the devil is in the detail. You could have the dead right idea and lose money. If your timing is slightly off, you could lose. You have to structure your trade in a manner that increases your probability, your upside, and decreases your downside. Again, timing, I believe, is everything. Waiting for the stop hunt, most of the trades occur at the extremes, at the highs and the lows, and the majority of those will happen right around the session opens. That first hour can often be a trap. Look for 3 pushes, traders. Keep it simple. End the week on a strong note. Have a great trading session, and may the markets go with you.
Hi traders, it's Stacey Burke from Stacey Burke Trading. If you haven't done so, please head over to my website at staceyburketrading.com. I create updates on almost a daily basis, and I would love for you to receive them. Just click on the blog. If you want to enter your name and your email address, I'll send you my free audio program, the 7-Step Daily Routine for High-Performance Traders. This is essential knowledge for all traders in all markets, and this is for helping traders to master the market with discipline, confidence, and a winning mindset. I appreciate all your feedback and comments. As always, traders, stay disciplined, and may the markets go with you.